it implies that the same awful episode, and this was a terrible evil, when angels, angeli is angels, sons of God, because the word sons of God always and invariably means angels in the plural. And so these angels did a very great evil. They departed from their proper habitation where they belonged, and they had intercourse with chosen human females. And also after that, now it's debated exactly after that. It could be that this episode happened twice, once before the flood, once after. That's possible. It happened twice. In both cases, produced giants who became famous names in history. So I don't know for sure what the afterwards would be. It could be after the flood as well as before the flood. I don't know what else one would suggest, but I wouldn't argue that point myself. But the Nephilim, of course, that's the Hebrew word for to fall, the fallen ones who came after the flood, probably then would be a second example, a second happening of this terrible, awful thing. And you rightly pointed to Jude, where it says that like the angels, Sodom and Gomorrah had sex. Like the angels. That proves that angels had sex, by the way, there in Jude, verse 7, verse 8, and so on. So there was an episode that was parallel in Sodom and Gomorrah. Look at that. There were angels there, and the people of Sodom and Gomorrah were so infatuated with illegal sexual practice that they begged to have sexual relationship with the angels who were staying with Lot at that time. That's the story there.
Let's have a quick
Yeah,
look at the book of Jude,
absolutely.
because something interesting is said also about this sexual immorality. So it
Yes,
talks about Sodom and Gomorrah, as you see there.
yes,
Well, actually, first, let's go back.
yes,
Angels who did not keep their own domain, verse 6, but abandoned their proper abode, he has kept in eternal bonds under darkness for the judgment of the great day. So these beings are alive underground. So these cannot be human beings. And then the verse you mentioned, just as Sodom and Gomorrah and the cities around them, since they, in the same way as these, and here's the kicker, Anthony, this phrase is interesting, and
yep,
went after strange
yes,
flesh.
yes,
Now, why would you say that if these are people with people, right? It
yes,
sounds odd that Jude would use that phrase. What do
yes.
you think about
Just as Sodom and Gomorrah and the cities around Sodom and Gomorrah, since they, the cities around Gomorrah, in the same way as these angels, that's what translations would supply there, in the same way as these fallen angels indulged in gross immortality and went after strange flesh. So the people in Sodom and Gomorrah committed the same terrible sin as had been committed by the angels. So these angels would be implied by that word these there.
and
Yep.
they go after strange flesh is
Yes,
the thing
foreign.
that gets me, that
Yes, foreign
it
flesh.
sounds highly odd. A bunch of videos you can find on our
Yes,
YouTube page, Focus on the Kingdom. We've
good.
done a lot of studies on
Mm-hmm.
the Nephilim,
Mm-hmm.
giants, and demons,
Yeah,
spirits in prison. We have some videos there with some interesting information on
yes,
what became of the giants
yeah,
after the flood. So that last incursion, as Anthony was alluding to, after the flood, post-flood, maybe there was another fallen angels and more children, this wicked giant race, Nephilim, were produced. But the question was, so what happened to them? What became of them? Well, there's some interesting, not only biblical information you'll be exposed to, but also extra biblical information.
it's a huge event in Genesis 6.
Yes, Michael Heiser, who, by
Mm.
the way, is about to die, I think.
Yes,
He's got pancreatic cancer. So
yes,
he does leave us with good work, I think, on this
yes,
topic.
on this
So
topic.
it's sad that
Yep,
this is happening
yes,
to him. But anyway,
good.
although we obviously disagree with his Trinitarianism, but
Yes, that's a separate point.
it's
Yep,
always sad when obviously
yes,
someone dies. So